One of the most important habits you should develop in order to become a good coin collector, a good numismatist, is to constantly be looking at a lot of coins and develop an eye for what is a quality piece. Even better if you can actually have lots of coins in your hands and see how big they are in relation to your hand, their weight, how they feel, see their art with your own eyes, the relief on the coins. But obviously this isn't always possible. The best solution we have nowadays are high-resolution photos. There's lots of them online and you can look at them. And more recently, high-quality videos of coins have become more common, especially with auction houses. But hey, let me show you what I think is the natural evolution of high-quality videos. High-quality 3D models. So join me as we have a look at this 3D coin collection. It was made by a gentleman called Frank McMains, who kindly allowed me to show his collection here. So let's have some fun commenting, spinning, and zooming in on his coins. And let me explain you why I believe this is a very important step in numismatics we need to pay more attention to. He made these models with a technique called photogrammetry, where he takes lots of photos of an object at the same distance, but from different angles. And a special software stitches the images together, forming a 3D model out of all of the photos. And as far as we can see, it does a pretty good job at it. We can see the rim of the coins pretty well, all of the small imperfections of a coin, its flank cracks. It captures the high relief of the coin, the toning and the patina. It's not absolutely lifelike, but it gets so damn close to it. And I mean, if you go online and you post a couple of pictures of your coin at, let's say, a Facebook group, and you ask if the coin is genuine, unless the coin is a blatant fake, most experienced collectors will give you their opinion with the added disclaimer that they need to have the coin on hand to give a final verdict. Even if you give them very high quality images and the weight of the coin, you still can't see the rims of the coin to look for any signs of a casting seam. You can't zoom in close enough to maybe check for casting bubbles or the fuzziness that is typical for a cast coin, the typical small dings and scratches of a genuine coin, the flow lines of the strike. A well-made 3D model really helps you to achieve that level of, let's say, closeness, likeness to a coin that you need to fully evaluate a piece without having it to be physically with you. And it's not that you're going to be doing complex 3D scans of a coin and send them to people to authenticate a coin to you. But this is the kind of material a beginner could look at for hours and get a pretty good idea of what people mean when they say, check the rim for a casting seam, or check the fields for casting bubbles, or check the surfaces of the coin, or check the style and compare it against other coins. Every single one of these models made available online is a really powerful tool for anyone starting in this hobby. And it's not only for the sake of detecting fakes. If I was a high-end dealer or an auction house, I would consider this technology when preparing catalogs for my sales. It can be a bit labor-intensive. You need lots of images to make a good model, and this is a technology that will probably be optimized in the future. But when we're talking about expensive coins, 4 figures, 5, 6 figures, there's really no excuse for someone not to go to the limits of available technology in order to show a coin as close to reality as it is. If I'm going to spend some serious cash on a piece like, I don't know, this Syracuse tetradrachma we have here, I want to see every single detail of that coin. I want to see the relief, I want to see the level of wear and what is the current state of the surfaces, if there's some corrosion, porosity, scratches. If an auction catalog says the coin is mint state, I want to be able to rotate the coin and see the light reflect on that coin, and I want it to look just like a mirror. I want to rotate it to properly appreciate the style of the die, the rims, and it's not that I don't trust the auction house or I'm penny pinching on a 4 or 5 figure coin. It's just that the fuel that moves the ancient coin trade is trust. And personally, if I see a dealer go, through the troubles of fully disclosing any potential flaws of a coin in such an intuitive way, I mean, you can pick up the coin and rotate it, I would be willing to become a repeat client with this auction house. And of course, we have the educational potential of 3D. And I don't mean only people getting started on numismatics, where this technology allows someone to get a hands-on experience even before going to a coin shop to handle an ancient coin for the first time. But also for someone to get used to a certain type of coin they just aren't used to. As a personal example, check out on the screen. I've picked up this Carthaginian bronze. I'm curious about Carthaginian coins, but I just don't know a lot about them. Some were struck at Carthage, others were struck at Sardinia, others in Sicily, others in Spain. Their monetary standards aren't very well understood, so even before looking for a specialized catalog on Carthaginian coins, these models allow me to have a closer look at the different styles of busts, different types of reverses. It really makes that first contact, that first step into an unknown type of coin much more accessible. So with the introduction out of our way, let's have some fun with some coins. Let's begin with this Alexander tetradrachma, which I think it's one of the types of coins that benefits the most from this 3D technology, because since these were made in such huge numbers, in such different mints, with such different styles, apart from the videos and the images, you really need to have like this hands-on approach to see what a coin looks like. And I mean, if we look at it from the side, look at that. That is ridiculous. Look how much the image of Heracles pops out of the flan. It's like, it's almost as thick as the flan itself. And this is something that pictures are not able to capture, and even video doesn't fully show these details. And I mean, some of these coins come in like a very flat relief. Others like this just pop out like absolute crazy. So this is a coin that really benefits from this type of technology. Even on the reverse, we can see that Zeus also pops out of the flan quite a lot. Like even the eagle, you can see that in the relief, you can see the eagle being projected. Check this out. What a wonderful coin, huh? You can see it has tone in a very funny way. You can see the flow lines, but then you have this like darker toning, which has quite a bit of scratches close to the eyes in these areas where you can still see the flow marks, and you can see that it toned a little bit differently. Such a marvelous thing. Like this coin has a little bit of wear, but imagine admiring like a true like EF coin in exquisite 3D like this. Like this is so good for you to properly appreciate what a coin like this looks like. You can see in the rim like the little cracks in some areas due to the pressure of the hammer blow. On the reverse, I believe this is a posthumous piece. Alexandro Basileus. We would have to look at Price's catalog to see how it looks. Quite an interesting throne as well. The thrones change a lot in style. Some have like super skinny legs. Some almost look like little chairs. This one, no. This one has proper legs, properly decorated. It looks like a proper throne. And it has a backrest as well. Some of them don't have it. Pretty interesting. Next, let's look at a very charming Indian coin. This is a Gadaya Paisa. These are imitations of Sasanian coins that have reached India, and they were copied there over and over and over. And as you can see, like they're so charming. This was supposed to be the face of the Sasanian king, and as it was copied over the centuries, it became just like this disjointed head, which looks a little bit like a bean, and you have like these patterns, and you can actually make a timeline of these coins. So like the earliest examples really look a lot like the original Sasanian coins, and as time progresses, this is a fairly late example, and as you can see, it is very abstract. Here on the reverse, there's supposed to be 2 fire attendants and a fire altar, but as you can see, it has degenerated quite a bit. The original coins are also very flat, and in this one we can see just became like this lumpy texture. Still a very charming coin. We can see like this very interesting flan crack over here, which has toned in like this golden tone. Really interesting. And we get to the actual design. Check this out. There's a little copper incrustation here, which this might be a thing from the photogrammetry thing. As you can see, like a little bit of the green has bled into other parts of the coin. So if you look at it at a distance, it's like the king has like a green eye, which gives it a really cool effect if we look at it. If we look like with the rest of the toning. If we look at it from the side, we can see we can see like how each of the little dots was made slightly different. You can see this one is slightly slanted, while these ones were made like properly flat. You really get to come really close and inspect all of the tiny details of the coin. Really cool. All right, what about that beauty over here? This is an Arcanian stater. These are inspired on the Corinthian types, featuring the Athena on one side and the Pegasus on the other. So let's have a closer look at it. Pretty awesome. Great style. The surfaces they're not mirror-like. You can see that they have like some dings and some very gentle, I wouldn't call it porosity, it's just, well, yeah, this part is actually not porous at all. It's just normal circulation wear. Over here at the top part, we see where the flan for this coin was cast. There was probably like a line of round flans, and they were connected by a little channel. So you would only have to pour metal once, and then it would flow all the way here. This is where it entered. And then once it cooled down, they would snip it out over here, and it would leave this small little protrusion over here, which shows where the metal flowed. But the rest of it looks fantastic. Pretty well-rounded rim. Lovely bust of Athena. We can zoom in very close to her nostril. The lower lip is a little bit of a pellet, and then we have the chin. Lots of little scratches. Nice dark toning as well, huh? Really nice. Here we have a little mark. This is probably the engraver's mark. Here's the little eye and the part for the nose protector. Like she would put it down like this, and then you would have this part cover her face, and you would have this metal strip that would bend slightly forward to accommodate for her nose. And on the reverse, of course, we have the Pegasus. Sadly, I can't rotate it to like 90 degrees to have it horizontal, but we can still see a lot of details. Check out the face. Lovely. Pretty high relief, although these coins aren't like very dramatic in their high relief, but it's still fairly good. It pops out of the flan quite well. Here's the mint mark. We have the alpha for Arcania. Lovely. Some of these coins suffer from misaligned dice. So for example, in some examples you would see like half of the Pegasus missing, which is a shame, and I wonder why they didn't recall these coins to be restruck. But yeah, a lot of these coins suffer from this issue, but not this one. It's fairly well centered, it's well struck. How much does it weigh? 8.3 grams. Yeah, it's within the proper range for this coin. Lovely, lovely classical coin. Now, how about a Roman coin? Let's have a look at this Republican denarius. So here we have the bust of Roma. It has a little bit of wear here in the high parts, like her ear has been erased, but still very charming portrait. Here we can see her eyes. It's like a very side profile, so instead of having like the round pupil, we only have like the profile of the eye. Fairly interesting. Very high quality silver. Check this out. Very flat metal, very good undisturbed surfaces. Have some scratches of circulation, but the metal itself is very good. We can see the flow lines. Whoop, it rotated. Let me bring it back. We can see the flow lines connecting, like, for example, the nose to the rest of the body. There's some rainbow toning forming over here. See, like the yellow, and then it gets to like these reddish tones. Very nice. Lovely coin overall. Let's head to the reverse. In the reverse, we have the chariot. We have, is this a biga or is this a quadriga? I think this is a quadriga. And it's being ridden by Victory. Such a shame we can't rotate this. Here we have the name of the moneyer responsible for the issue of these coins. Yeah, pretty spectacular. Check out the toning, starting to form in the little crevices as well. Give this coin a few years inside the cabinet and this is going to look absolutely stunning. So yeah, charming little denarius. Now have a look at that drachma. This is a Parthian drachma from Mithridates II. Very good. This was struck at a time when Parthia still had a lot of Greeks living in its territory, so you had a lot of die engravers working for the Parthians and making their coins. And as you can see, they adopted the Greek style on their coins. It's clearly a Persian now who's in charge, but the style on the coin is pretty much Hellenistic. I mean, just look at that. The detail on the beard is quite complex. The patina is dramatic. Check out that dark patina, giving it, giving the coin a little bit of majesty, and it looks old. Check out the headband, the royal headband, just like the Greek monarchs. Then you have that nice hairstyle over here, and as it goes down, the neck connects to something which I'm not entirely sure if this is just a decorated robe or if this is actually a cuirass. It looks like an actual battle armor. No, I think this is just like a jeweled robe. The Persian kings typically didn't depict themselves like ready for battle or anything. And on the reverse, we have this very dramatic. Let me move the light a little bit. We also have this very full, very busy reverse with like lots of Greek letters saying like the Arsakos, the king, the illustrious, and at the center, the symbol of the Parthians, the archer examining the bow. Pretty cool, and I would think reminiscent of the Seleucid design on the reverse, which typically featured Apollo sitting and examining his bow, but in this case, it's a Parthian archer. Look also how funny, like what did the patina do over here? You can see like this area where there was a clear movement of the silver when it was struck, and the patina seems to have formed around it, or this might have been just the result of whoever cleaned this coin actually removed the incrustations from this area and left the patina over there. So it ended up looking quite unique. Lovely coin, what do you think? Let's have a look at this denarius from Septimius Severus. Now that is interesting. This is from an Eastern mint. This is from Laodicea ad Mare. This does not have the typical style you would expect from his denarii from Rome. You can see it from a different style on the bust. The letters have like a different size and different proportions to it as well. Oh, nice. See how there's supposed to be an E over here, but it seems like the die was clogged as they struck coin after coin after coin. Sometimes material would start to fill out some of the letters, the space, and then you would have something like this, like a letter that is kind of missing, but it's actually metal that was deposited in the area, so you wouldn't imprint. Lovely. Check out that toning. It is developing this darker toning around the crevices as well, which is typical for these ones. Check out the eye. Depending on the century where these coins were struck, like the eye changes. Some of these have like the the front part of the eye. This one is actually, it actually sort of like marks the pupil. It's interesting. Pretty lovely coin. It's in great shape. This is probably a little bit later in his reign. Do we have like a... Yeah, 198. Oh no, this is actually quite early in his reign. Okay. Pretty fantastic coin, in great shape. You can see a little bit of wear in the higher parts. You can see that the leaf, the laurel wreath, and these flocks of hair right next to the ear in this area. Like, this is the very first area that starts to wear off as the coin circulates. The same goes for that beard over here. If you want to have like a true EF Roman coin, you cannot accept having any of this wear over here. It doesn't bother me though. For me, the money I can save on a VF coin rather than an EF, I think it's acceptable. This kind of wear, it's okay. All right, let's go to the reverse and see what it looks like. Hello, that is a crazy toning we got there. What's going on here? So we have a little victory. Prancing over to the left, having a good old time. She looks excited. She's holding... I cannot really put my finger on what she's holding over here. I mean, over here's a laurel wreath. That's fine. Over here, there's like some design just blended with with her wing underneath. Yeah, you can see the wear in this. Yeah, check out the relief. That's awesome. You can't see that on video. You need to have a 3D scan of the coin to appreciate the patina, to appreciate like the deposits. You can see there's some coppery deposits over the silver, which probably led to this crazy toning and these little splotches of green in these areas. Fascinating. See, over here we have some more cupric deposits. We also have a very interesting patination on the rim. Check this out. Very interesting. Whoever cleaned this coin didn't bother to clean the rim, because it's the dirtiest quote-unquote part of the coin, and they didn't bother to clean a whole lot of the reverse as well, because yeah, the obverse is pretty much clean and the reverse. And you know what? I like this reverse. I like these colors maybe better than the obverse. Fantastic. Partico Ariadotrix. It's celebrating Septimius Severus's victory over the Parthians. Lovely coin. Yeah. I think this coin is the smallest in his collection. Let's see how big this is. This is a little fractional shekel of Phoenicia. 9.2 millimeters wide. That is tiny. I mean, for example, as we zoom in, you might think that this fuzziness to the image is a result of like the resolution and trying to capture such a small coin, but the coin actually looks like that. That is a result of probably like a slightly worn die and, well, just normal circulation wear. The coin really looks like this. Awesome. And if we zoom in, we can really see the details on the patina, like how the silver has toned. This area next to the flow lines. Check out the reflections in the flow lines. That is cool. This area has bare silver in it, while the rest of the coin has patinated into this darker shade of gray. Here we can see a part of the patina that has flaked off. Fantastic. We have the Achaemenid king facing like a little standing lion on his foot. We have a control mark over here with a darker spot where it patinated a little bit further and a little later. This is small. Like this is, what is this? 1 millimeter as well, like 1 millimeter long. That is tiny. Check out the flan crack. Lots of detail into this tiny little coin. Let's check the rim. I mean, these are very common coins. I wouldn't think anyone would try to counterfeit these coins, but still, it's really interesting to study the rim of these coins and see the reflection, see how nice you can see that there are no signs of a casting seam, no signs of filing off the edges. It's just exactly how it looked like when it was made. These should be like from the 5th century BC. These are very old, very early coins from the classical period. And on the reverse, we have the little galley. Look how lovely. Very typical for the Phoenicians. They were seafarers. So you have the prow of the ship. You have the body of the ship. You have this area over here, which it has like these little dot-like features. I want to believe these are like the tiny little heads of the sailors, although these could be just like a barrier or some part of the ship. We have the rows over here, really cool, and the little waves underneath. And this really interesting multicolored patina. Some darker spots. Some people prefer to clean these and have them like blast white. I don't. I would much rather have the coin with this ancient look. Yeah, there's some of these areas that generate a little bit of visual pollution, but I mean, they're ancient coins. They're supposed to have that ancient look. Wow, that's amazing. How much detail in such a tiny coin. Like, it must have been props to, what was his name again? Props to Frank McMains. Like, it must have been hard to capture all of the details in this tiny little coin. That is fantastic. Okay, let's have a look at this tiny little bronze coin. Does he mention which coin is this? No, it's just Greek bronze fraction. Just 10.8 millimeters wide. That is a tiny coin. So check this out. We have this nice yellow greenish patina. It at the bottom it is sort of like yellow, and then as it goes up it gets this emerald patina. Really interesting. Although I suspect there might be a little bit of bronze disease up to the side, though in some other areas it seems more like it's just a chipped patina, and it exposes the core of the coin, which has patinated into a different color. Really interesting. Here's the tiny little bust, helmeted bust of Athena. Very small little details like this is less, like these lips, for example, they're less than 1 millimeter long. This required a lot of attention. Look at the little earth deposits on the coin. It would have been impossible to fully clean this coin, as well as due to the little porosity that this patina has. This patina is a little bit frail, as we can see. And going to the reverse, we have this nice, the stars of Castor and Pollux, with some nice earth deposits right at the center. You can see they're still attached, glued to the crevices over here. Some nice little flan cracks. Check this out. It begins at this arm of the star. It crosses that arm and the other one. It goes all the way up to that big flan crack that we have over here. Really cool. And then we also have at this side like this emerald green patina, and as it goes down to this area next to this, I think this is a control mark, this is a theta letter, and then it gets yellow at this part. Really charming. Then over here we have more of a chipped patina exposing the inner parts of the coin, which have patinated. So this chip happened a long time ago. Really charming. Tiny little coin, still very charming. Here's a fun one. Let's look at this Celtic stater. This is from around the time of the Gallic Wars, 100 to 50s BC, like slightly before the Gallic Wars. And what I like about this coin is that it is a mix of silver and copper. These is an alloy called bilin. So you can actually see when these coins have a little bit of wear, which is the case in this coin, that silver and copper, they don't really like to mix very well. So you end up getting this surface layer, which is actually relatively rich in silver, but the moment you have a little bit of wear, the copper starts poking out like we can see over here. This is fantastic. I do not think the Celts had access to, or they at least used the surface enriching techniques that the Romans used. The Romans, when they wanted their silver coins with a lower silver contents to look better, they had some tricks to leach the copper out of the surface. I do not recall the Celts from ever using it, and you can, but even if you did it, when you get somewhere like this over here, like where you actually have damage to the side of the coin, you can just see like all of the copper just showing up, and then you can see that the coin isn't as good as its surface shows. That's fantastic. Look, it's still like a lovely bust. You can see this really dramatic red accretion over here. It's like a splatter of blood in the face of this character over here. Really fantastic. But yeah, since copper is much more reactive, you have these very interesting accretions and different kinds of patination that end up happening, and you have these really interesting colors that typically don't happen when the coin is made out of pure silver. On the reverse, we have this disjointed horse. It's a shame that I can't rotate it over here, but you can see like its back legs, its body, and its head was supposed to be over here. Although I don't know exactly what happened over here. Was this coin hit like with a shovel or something, or is this just normal corrosion? Yeah, probably something like this. Still very interesting. It's like a kaleidoscope of colors and patination and deposits. It's really cool to analyze, and to dig like deep down and see the funny things that this alloy does after it's left alone for a long time. Like you see this like web of like the copper and the silver interweaving. Really fascinating. Over here we actually have some deposits. These are like some earth deposits that have just caked up in the little crevices. Fascinating coin. These staters, these are probably some of the most common and most accessible staters issued by the Gallic tribes. Fantastic. There's a little detail, it's kind of funny. He probably keeps these coins into like a felt tray, and I see these in my coins as well. Like sometimes you can see little pieces of fabric get loose from the trays and attach themselves to the coins. It happened over here. Lovely design. Loosely inspired on Greek coins. The Celts often worked as mercenaries for the Greek kingdoms. They brought their Greek coins back to Celtic lands, and they copied the coins that they imported from the Greeks. And after repeating the design over and over and over, you have these mixes of Celtic and Greek art. So for example, these ones, they probably look like, these are probably inspired in the Alexander types. So you have the face of Hercules, and this is probably like you would have the skin of the Nemean lion over here, but they just transformed it into like this, to pretty much just his hair with like these little strings coming out. Quite nice. And on the reverse, this reverse is probably inspired on the staters of Philip II. There's one with the staters of Philip II have a horse, like it's actually a chariot with two horses. So usually the chariot, the abstraction as these coins get copied over and over and over, the chariot just goes away. But since the Celts were very familiar with horses, they kept replicating the horse, and the horse continues in the design and the descendants of these earlier staters. Although, as you can see over here, it looks more stylized than the highly realistic Greek coins. Very charming. Alright, and let's wrap up this video with this lovely tetradrachma of Antiochus III. This very nice, dark patina over the silver and with these golden hues forming around the crevices. Wonderful. Fair amount of wear, but I mean, you can totally forgive. See, like crazy high relief like the early Seleucid coins. Wonderful. And on the reverse, we have this nice bust of Apollo holding his bow and his arrow and sitting in the omphalos, the navel of the world. Basileus Antiocho. Lovely. So yeah, thank you very much, Frank, for letting me have a look at these wonderful models. I'll leave a link to his 3D collection in the comment section so you can all have a look as well. And there it goes. What do you think? Do you think 3D models are the future of numismatics? Let us know in the comment section below. So yeah, I hope you enjoy this little visual podcast video that I've made. And happy collecting, and I'll see you soon.